Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ignite Your Heart and Soul right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful guest is Shah Murthy. Known as Shah, but she's Charlotte. You can call her anything. She doesn't get offended by it. So it's all about Spirituality Day, dealing with the crisis with spirituality. You know, spirituality is always there for us. You know, it's the way of touching your soul, lifting your higher self, and learning about rediscovery of your true identity, she says. Understanding finally that we're much more than we do and that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves. Knowing to be grateful there is a bigger plan for ourselves that includes our life crisis. Those crises show us exactly who we are. We learn and grow from them and morph into the very best version of ourselves, living our purpose and our passion. She is a best-selling author of SABA 2020 Nonfiction Book Award winner, a top inspirational author of year 2020, Unshakable Power, Through the Seasons of the Soul, speaker, full-time breast cancer thriver. I love it. Thriver, not survivor, advocate, mentor, entrepreneur, founder of Shah Murthy, I want to go Char, sorry, it's the British in me, ShahMurthy.com, and featured contributing author to the Biz Catalyst 360. She went to law school as a single mom. She became a successful attorney, but, after her fight with cancer, finding herself fighting to survive breast cancer, depression, and post-traumatic stress, dealing with the aftermath, she losing her home, career, self-identity of who she thought she was. She then asked, who am I now and why am I here? And that is the journey she's going to be sharing with us today. You know, I just did my weekly show on birthing, because obviously I became my grandma this week, so birthing is
Yes,
on my mind, right?
congratulations.
Thank you. But it also is about the many rebirths that we have through life. And that, you know, when something comes to an end, it's not catastrophic. It's just like a pause, take a deep breath. That is a finished chapter. You have a new chapter to write. And what is it? And we're never alone, because when we ask that universal spirit to come with us, it will always take us on the right path, won't it? Welcome to the show, love.
Pardon me.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
You've been through a lot, but it's that I love the word thriver, not just survivor. Um, Attitude is a huge thing in going through a
Yes,
crisis, isn't it? You know, you can't open up to any of the spiritual energy if your attitude is one of woe is me, you know, the world is against me, or that low vibration. It's very hard to kind of receive the help you need at that time if that is where you leave yourself at.
that's right. That's right. I think you hit the nail on the head when you say everything that happens is a new opportunity to start a new journey, to start over, even though we feel like, oh my gosh, my world has just come to an end.
Yeah.
What do I do now? Where am I? Who am I now?
Mm.
Those are real questions that we ask ourselves. And I've had to do it many times. And sometimes, I mean, it doesn't end.
No.
It doesn't end. We're constantly evolving and changing.
But it doesn't have to be difficult. That's the thing, is that we've, of course, I had to do a show on birthing this week as well. So yes, my own show, but it's about the rebirth that we have. Is that everything comes to an end because it's meant to be an end of chapter. It's meant to be an end of that experience. It's not like, oh no, my life is finished. No, it isn't. That end of that chapter is finished. It's now the wondrous opportunity of what is before you. And if you can look at it that way, we can see so many more possibilities that way, can't we? That rebirthing of oneself.
That's exactly right. And that's what I have to remind myself of. And that's really how I got through
Mhm.
all of it was looking for the positive in the situation, and what did it lead me to?
Yeah.
Where am I being led to now that's a better place than I was before? That I can help more people.
Yeah.
And so it's a gratitude thing for
Hmm.
me. It was gratitude.
I think if you can't have gratitude, you really don't appreciate all the beautiful things that are right at your fingertips. Um, you see life totally different through the gratitude lens. Even the crisis, okay, I'm grateful you're shaking me up. All right. I know you want me to redirect. I'm grateful for the fact that you're giving me that awareness. Now I'll be grateful if you can make it easier for me, right?
Right. Yes. No, it's never easy, but it is exciting. Well, uh, like back to the gratitude thing is that if you can find the gift
Mhm.
in the things that happen that throw you off course completely, and be grateful for that, then you're on to something, because this
Mhm.
spirit isn't going to lead us
No,
down the wrong path.
no, no.
And we have to learn lessons along the way.
Mhm.
And part of the lessons that we learn are through these experiences.
We learn our strength. We learn our courage, our tenacity, our abilities. We learn that we're so much more than society postage stamped us with, and that we have a sense of adventure and wonderment. And when you open up to all of that, that is the spirit opening up your heart, soul, and your
That's
spirit igniting. And it's exciting, isn't it?
it is exciting. It is very exciting. And I'm just almost amazed every day, when sometimes I think back over the different things and those different mile markers,
Mm,
and where I was at that time. And maybe I wasn't in full gratitude at
yeah,
that time of where I was. And then the universe goes, okay, let's just shake you up a little bit and see if you'll be grateful for this. And then you are in that situation, next situation. And then you have to find a reason to be grateful for being there,
yeah.
because you're being led to something better. At least that's what's gotten me through, is to
Mm.
find that gift.
Everything has a gift in it. I mean, take COVID. It's been a year now. Yes, bless all the lives that have been lost and lives that have been affected by it. But on the other hand, it's been a gift of pause, of reviewing, of renewing. So many people have taken a completely different direction in their life because they were given that moment to breathe. And it's a blank slate out there right now. There is no going back to normal. Normal was dysfunctional anyway. It's a totally new canvas for us all to paint.
That's right. It has been the pause is it's been difficult in some ways, especially for those that have been alone.
Yeah.
And I was just listening to something about teen suicide,
Yeah.
especially for empathics,
Hmm.
um, those that are taking on everybody, say like the other kids at school, their issues, their family issues, like, oh, my dad can't go to work, and my mom can't go to work, I can't go to school, I can't see my friends. And it really it has been interesting to say the least, but it has been a good chance for us to take that review, that time to stop and say, okay, what am I doing? Am I happy with what I'm doing? This is a great time for change. Step up and do what you've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can do that now. It's the
It,
perfect opportunity.
it is. That thing. It's the perfect opportunity. And it's funny you bring up suicide because I have two shows last week, which were one on an 18-year-old who committed suicide through horrible bullying, rape, and everything else that she went through. And for her, she realized that she could do more for people who were at that suicidal risk crossing over and helping them from the other side than she could this side. And, now fortunately her mum was completely open to the channel of it. And they're working together to save lives and to let them know, hold on, you can get through this. So she's working one side of the veil, and her family started a foundation to work with them on this side of the veil. And,
Wow.
sometimes that is that soul contract. I came here to have this experience. Now it's not me giving up, it's me transferring to a different position. Right. So for a lot of
Exactly.
people, it's that, but also the amount of suicide rate amongst our veterans, far more than those that have died in the war. And, that sense of hopelessness. And I think a great deal of it, the title is crisis, crisis, using spirituality to get through crisis. I think for so many, they lose that disconnection, with the heart and the soul. And if you don't have an open heart, you can't hear your soul, you can't hear the spirit talking to you. You've completely shut down, and it's so hard to get through to you then. And that's why I think why we see so many people exiting before their time.
Exactly. And that heart soul connection is so important because that is where you find yourself, is in that
Yeah.
heart. We are love. We
Yes.
are our heart space. And that heart soul connection is what allows us to, that's where the strength comes
Mm,
from source, because as we
yes.
are all one, we are connected to source. And if we recognize that connection, then we are able to listen.
Mm,
And that is the other beauty of this moment, or
yes.
having have gone through what we have just come through and whatever may come next,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
being able to listen to our heart through our
And
soul.
truly hear. That very often we listen with what we want to hear, not listen to what we need to hear. So it's listening without any agenda or expectation, isn't it?
It is. It's not listening with our minds, it's listening with our hearts and
Yes.
through our souls. And because the mind believes whatever you tell it.
It's
And
just
you can,
programming, right? Just programming. It's just data. Yeah.
exactly. And it's oftentimes that paradigm that sets us up
Hmm.
for failure in that aspect. If we are stuck in our paradigms, in our heads of what we were told that we should do or that we should be or who we are, without being given the opportunity to say, no, but this is me.
Hmm.
This is me. And the blessing and the opportunity comes through those times. Say, when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer as a successful attorney, and all of a sudden I did not have that title. I mean, I'm still an attorney even today, but I don't practice. So
Right.
it was it was who am I? Who
Hmm.
am I now? Oh gosh, who am I now?
Yes.
Well, I'm still here. I'm still this right here.
Yes.
Still the heart.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest problems with people, isn't it? We assume we are our title of job, and we forget who we are as the beautiful enrichment of being. And if we could see our beingness, then we would actually understand we're so much more than any title you can put upon us. And this is what you did, but it's not who you were.
Exactly. But it quickly becomes who you
Mm,
are when that's what people identify you as. We identify other people. We
mm,
forget that they're more than what they do,
yeah.
and allowing them to just be who they are. I had the funniest thing happen. I have to tell you this, or you will love this. As a Well, it was my first job after law school before I started my own firm. And I had the big desk, and I was behind the desk, and this mother, I had her son had been hit by a car, and was the whole bottom half of his body was basically
Mm.
um, damaged pretty severely. And she came to me, and she was so afraid. She was from a small town, and she looked at me like this, like some kind of a goddess or something
Yes.
behind that desk. Okay. And I'm, so real that it was funny because I had these big kind of button earrings on, and I had to take a call while she was in the office. And that's when we had the old, pickup. I just was on it just for a second, but when I hung up the phone, that earring just completely fell out of my ear and rolled across the floor in front of her. And we both just cracked up laughing because she saw, wow, she's human,
Yes.
just like me.
Hmm.
I mean, stuff happens like that.
Yep.
Even if you're a professional and you're making a movie or whatever you're doing, things happen, and you're just you. You're still just you. You're not that perceived
Yes. It's the
title.
perception. It's the perception. One of the things I do love what's come out of this is all your talk show hosts have had to do all their interviews through Zoom. Right. So you haven't got hair and makeup. You're seeing people in their own habitat. They're more relaxed in the way they dress. And I feel we're getting so much more honest content. And the vulnerability and the conversations that are happening because you're seeing them in their habitat. There isn't a facade, cameras action, it is just a
Yes.
conversation. And it's going to be very hard to go back to the other way because now we're seeing the truth of people. Yes, you were a multi-million-dollar actor, a heartthrob and this and that, but you're just an ordinary Joe that goes through your own problems in life and you're willing to be vulnerable enough to talk about them and share them with us, which takes that illusionment away that nothing can touch you.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's the things, the breast cancer and the 4 times breast cancer. How many times did it take to get it through my head
Yeah.
that it wasn't about what I do?
Mm-hmm.
It's about who I am and what the strength and the resilience and the persistence um and the nights crying my eyes out, asking why, and then all of a sudden had this epiphany that in asking God
Mm-hmm.
why me, I had a specific answer, and it was because you're not meant to be that. That's not who you are.
Right.
Your life. I knew right then and there that my life purpose was higher
Mm-hmm.
than sitting behind a desk, being perceived as some kind of whatever, and so that's a big thing, is that when people go through these things, they need to realize that even though it's very difficult, we can't understand, and we do want to blame or
Mm-hmm.
feel victimized somehow. We have got to see that it's for a higher purpose. Not
It's the cosmic 2x4. You know, uh, Okay, you got back up and went right back to work. No, 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 no. You were meant to redirect. So we're going to give it to you again. You still
exactly.
haven't got the message? Here we go again. And it's like, why does this keep happening to me? And we know that cancer is an 80% emotional disease, and your entire emotion, psyche, and everything was telling you you're in the wrong place. But society's expectation, oh no, you're a lawyer, you're revered as a lawyer, this, that, etc. And like, do I let go of all that prestige? And and in the end, it is like, what prestige? It's costing me my life. Right.
Right, exactly. And even my own family could not understand why I would walk away, why I had to walk away. They
Yeah.
still do not to this day understand why I could not go back to law
Yep.
practice. And it really wasn't my choice at that point.
Yep.
It was my doctor saying, no, the stress will kill you.
Yes. Yes. You can't take this again. Get the
Right?
message. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yes. And even, my own mother, I tell the story of, as a second I was born, she did not believe that I was her child because I was a chubby baby.
That's meant
And
to
so
be
she,
a healthy baby, the chubby babies, right?
but I wasn't hers because
Uh-huh.
I was a chubby baby. So she um, actually, had me on a diet from the time I was born, literally. She withheld food and
Oh my
love from
God.
me from a very, very
So
early age.
she had real major issues that she passed on to you, right?
Well, right. Because I took that as truth
Yeah.
that I was, my
Mm-hmm.
value was in my appearance or my
Yes.
my weight somehow had something to do with people loving me or not loving
Yeah.
me,
I
or
know that one.
and that my punishment was to have to eat tuna fish and cottage cheese at age 10 and 12 and 14 and so forth. But when I became an attorney, she all of a sudden just
Yeah.
loved me,
Mm,
because I was making her look good then.
right.
And so yes, so the family really sort of said, well, what are you going to do now? I said, well, I'm going to use what I've been through to help other people. You're what?
Yes. Yeah, I know about the weight one. And my argument back with this is if you cannot see, I'm so much more than my poundage. But it's always, oh, you've gained weight. Oh, this or oh, that. And it's like, if that's all you can see of me, the shallowness isn't on me, it's on you. The issue isn't with me, it's with you. You have the issue with weight, and you're projecting that on me, and I will no longer accept it. But I had to go through all the shaming of,
Oh,
and I look at it back and I think, no, I was curvy, I wasn't fat. I might be considered fat now, and I don't care. I just think I'm more
right,
curvaceous.
right, Kirby. Yes, yes. I had the at holidays. I had the dessert was passed in front of me. I was
Wow.
not offered the dessert trays.
So
That's
immediately
okay.
as a child, you're going to have issues with food. Food is going to become your enemy, right?
That's
Because it's
right.
been imposed upon you. So you have this battle
Right.
with weight, battle with food, this image whole thing, all coming from one woman who had her own insecurities that she projected on you.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, isn't this a huge statement that we have to go through our own process and clear out all of that own insecurity and doubt and everything else? Because if not, we're going to impose it on some poor innocent soul and put through their life through hell. We have a responsibility to clear up our own issues.
That's right. It's actually it's just old programming, and
Exactly.
it becomes our paradigm. It really
Yeah.
does come to define who we are,
Yeah.
and if we're lovable or if we're not lovable, or if we're good enough or not good enough, or whatever. And so it's and in the book I talk about putting the old programming, that tape that plays over and over in your head.
Yeah.
It needs to go in the trash.
Yes.
In the trash.
Yes.
You
Doesn't belong anywhere else but in the garbage. But that took you, all those cancers and walking away from a career and this low self-esteem, um, as you said, losing your house, all of that. You had to bottom out to rebuild, as I put on my show this week, rebirth yourself. But rebirth
Yes,
yourself along with the heart and soul guiding you into the light you really are.
exactly. if we could just get in touch with that inner light that is spirit,
Yes.
then it would be it that is the key to the whole thing, really.
Yes.
And if we learn that, we are here to learn that. I believe we
Hmm.
really are here to learn that. And sometimes it comes at a price. It comes hard. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. But when it becomes easier,
Yes.
the more that you do it, and even when things happen today that I don't love, or I say, oh, why now? Why this?
Hmm.
I I go to that place in my heart and my spirit, connect with that inner light spirit, and recognize the beauty in that moment, in that experience, and get out of my head about it,
Yeah.
get out of the fear,
Hmm.
and accept it as okay, this is it. What am I supposed to learn from this? And move through it. It's really that easy, even though we torture ourselves
Don't we? We don't need anyone
and
else to
God
hurt us. We
and
hurt
spirit.
ourselves even more, right? You know, um, my statement always to that is our emotions are here as an indicator of what reaction we're going through right now. Feel our emotions so you can deal with the situation, but don't become emotional about them. And then one of the things as human beings, we become emotional about our emotion. And if, it is an indicator, you're feeling angry and mad. Why? What's making you angry and mad? What can you do to change that emotion? Not like get angrier and madder, because now you're
Or
going down the rabbit hole.
right, or blame somebody else.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
the easiest thing to do
Oh
is
God,
just
isn't
blame it
it?
on somebody else. Oh, that's somebody else's fault, not mine. I don't need to take responsibility. People, we need to take responsibility for ourselves and not blame and not be the victim, and go with flow of life,
Mm,
and from that spiritual point of view that I lean on, that is my that's my constitution.
mm-hmm.
That's my strength. That's really where our strength comes from.
Yes, the core. Yeah. You're saying about pointing a finger. When you're pointing, there's three pointing back at you, right? And you're saying, well, you don't like what you see out there. What are you going to do about it? Right. And when you are aligned with your heart, soul, and spirit, and you can really feel your soul's um, wisdom that resonates in your heart, that goes to your
Yes,
spirit into action, and your mind will know what it needs to know when it needs to know it. You are in such a beautiful breath. It's like a deep breath. All your chakras are lining up. Everything about you is just, I know what I need to know at this moment, and I don't need to know anything else.
exactly. It's when we question that, and that's again all from that head,
Mm,
that head place, because again, we believe our mind believes whatever we tell it, and
yes.
of course, so that if we can just change our mindset
Mm,
and be more mindful and be in that heart space, then we can start to be more comfortable,
mhm.
like you say, all chakras aligned,
Yeah.
in alignment with spirit and the universe. And then I'm not saying that things are not going to happen,
Hmm.
because they will and
Hmm.
they are. And it's just about getting to that place, though, that inner peace, that place of knowing
Hmm.
who you are and remembering who you are, and who, what you have been through and what you've learned from what you've been through. That builds on, everything builds on those things.
Yes.
And then you get to that place of, okay, you don't ask for it. Don't ask for more. And
Yeah.
don't do that.
No, no, it's not like what's next in, what else are you going to give me? No, no, you don't want that.
Right.
It's like the wonderment of, okay, I've learned that. It's in my backpack. I'm ready to go in exploration of other life. But, you don't have to give me any more rocks to climb at the present moment. You know? What we feed, what we water is what will grow. It's as simple as that. If you're going to feed discontentment or disillusionment or hate or fear, it's going to be what will grow. So if you
Exactly.
decide to feed love and kindness and caring and opportunities and possibilities and optimism, that is what's going to grow. Is it going to be all kumbaya and, oh, that's so wonderful? No, it's not about that. It's about that it doesn't matter what happens to you or around you. You've got it. You know how to deal with it. You know how to go through it. And you know how to help others do it the same, right?
Exactly. That's the beauty,
Mm-hmm.
is when others will open themselves up enough, their heart, to accept the the wisdom that we have to pass on
Mm-hmm.
to them. Sometimes, those, we want to fight for our own self.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like we want to be right.
that's the ego. Yeah.
That's the ego.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ego. We want to be right. We want to blame. We want to be the victim. We don't necessarily choose that,
No.
but we we really do, in a way,
Yeah.
if we go into that space.
The
So,
headspace.
right.
Yeah. I mean, we've been taught for a couple of hundred years now, intellectualism. Everything must be from the head. However many degrees you've got, the brighter you are, the shinier you're going to be, the more important you're going to be. Whereas before, we were creatures so in tuned into our intuition and into our knowledge. Look at the farmers, look at the shepherds, look at all the people that just completely were in tuned into the earth, into the cosmos, and they were guided by that because they allowed. And, not saying that academia is bad, but I'm saying if you get stuck in the importance of academia and you don't allow the soul, heart, and spirit's intellect to come through, which is the wisdom, then all this is knowledge. And you don't know how to use all this data. The wisdom shows you how to use it. And it becomes something that is ego, and that is insecurity. And then you start, protecting that ego and losing that connection even more to spirit and soul. So we can have pride. I'm very proud of who I am today and what I do. That's fine, as long as it's something that benefits not only you, but others. But if it's the ego, I'm more important than you because I've got, or I'm richer than you, or I'm more popular than you, or more followers than you, that ego is destroying you.
That's exactly right. And I have dealt with this so much in my life that it's almost like an automatic thing in me that just, I will not go there with
Mm-hmm.
if someone wants to put me in that light,
Yeah.
I will literally run the
Mm-hmm.
other way,
Yeah.
because that's not who I am.
Right. You don't want to be seen that way. They're not seeing you because they're incapable of seeing you. They're not in that vibe yet. They're not in that channel yet.
Right,
Haven't done
right.
the work, right?
That's exactly right. And it is work.
It
And
is.
it is work. And it takes time. It
Mm.
doesn't just happen
No
overnight.
downloadable app.
I wish
Yeah.
that would be a degree to have.
Yes. Yeah. The plugging into the head and you wake up in the morning, you've got all that knowledge. Yeah. No, it doesn't work like that. It is the process. But It doesn't have to be. Yeah, it's difficult in the beginning because you don't know what to do and you don't know how to tune in. The more you allow, the more you tune in, the more you're guided forward, the less difficult it becomes. It becomes a way of life, right? So the difficulty is in the resistance.
Exactly. Resistance. Resistance is what sets us up
Mm,
for failure.
yeah, yeah,
Because when we come from that place of ego, or I know this, I know that, you don't know, you know, that is where that's where people really get in trouble to me. And I mean that I've seen is that they resist. And when the resistance builds up enough, it starts, well, you're going to have another experience that's
yes.
going to show you
Well, it's the
that
conflict with self that's going to have repercussions.
exactly, exactly. The conflict is with yourself,
Yes.
not with the other person,
No.
like you said. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the important thing is to realize the people out there aren't your enemy. It's how you feel about yourself. Oh, I see that my background is suddenly turned into the beach.
I
I mean,
was
would we like to
gonna
be
say,
there right now? It does this. I don't know
well,
why, but
I am.
yeah, but
I feel
isn't
at
this?
home. I feel
We've gone
right
to
at
the
home.
now. We've gone to the beach and back again,
There
right?
you go.
So a little
Wow.
serenity there for a moment.
I love that. And the wind was blowing our
Yes,
hair,
yeah.
and we were just the palm trees swaying.
Wait,
It
but
was
that's an
beautiful.
actual wonderful segue into nature. The wind in our hair blowing away the cobwebs, blowing away the conflict. The water is the conduit to wash away all that troubles you. The earth's vibration and the matrix, how everything joins together. The growth of everything around you. If you tap into nature, nature's got it down. Follow
That
its
is,
path.
yes. I'll never forget when I was very young, before, I mean, I think my son was 2, and my father had just passed away. He died of ALS
Mm,
when I was 24. And I, some friends were taking a sailboat, like a barefoot cruise, and
mhm.
one of our friends was a captain. We went to the Keys and got on a sail, learned how to sail. There was 20 of us. We learned how to sail this boat out in the middle of the ocean, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. When you talk about the wind and the hair, it brought that up to me because I can remember just holding on to the whatever they're called. I can't remember, but the sail, the lines,
Yeah,
the ropes, holding on and leaning back, and
yeah,
the way that my hair was just blowing, and I was just leaning back and like in ecstasy
yeah.
of the beauty of nature, and how freeing it
Yes.
was to me to feel that feeling, and was able to let go of so much
Mhm.
pain and heartache, and thinking life is just too hard.
Yeah.
No, that was the perfect thing for me to do at that time, because it really did. That was when I really understood what the word freedom
Yeah.
means.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I live in Victoria here in BC, and I've been here 3 years and I chose it because of the vibration here, but we're right on the water. So there's always a beautiful breeze or a wind. The trees are always moving and dancing to it. You've got the water, the smell of the sea, and it's just that constant movement because I need fluidity and we all need fluidity. We all need things to be constantly moving forward. Now, it could be a stream, it could be a river, and sometimes it's an ocean, but it's got to be moving. The blood, the oxygen, the energy in our body has to be moving. And if you end up with pains in certain areas, it's blocked chi, blocked energy. And just
Yes,
being at one with the wind, the rustle of the leaves speaking to you and the water splashing against your feet, it is so invigorating and so cleansing. and so calming. It's like a beautiful nature's arms around you. So I encourage people to do a lot more of it.
It's very grounding.
Yes, yes.
It's very grounding. I love that meditation. There's a grounding meditation that I use where she's talking you through and, connecting um, your feet to these big tap roots and going all the way down into the core of the earth. And part of that, doing that, is like, imagine that you're standing at the edge of the beach on the sand where the water comes up, and you allow your legs to just sink down in
Mm.
the sand, and that feeling of entering Mother Earth
Yeah.
and allowing her to fill you up
Hmm.
with that peace, that serenity, that ground that we need.
Hmm.
Because if we're not grounded in ourselves, in our situations, if and part of that grounding is being more focused
Hmm.
on what we need to be focused on instead of what our minds are frantically trying to tell us to be.
Yes. Have I got any followers today? Has anybody commented on my tweets? And how important am I today? And it's I love social media because it's an algorithm, and what I feed is what I get back. And I've had an enormous amount of support, enormous amount of love, enormous amount of camaraderie, and it's a village which I give back. So it's a beautiful community, but that algorithm has been created by what I fed, what I supported. And that is the algorithm of your life as well. As you said, if you've got negative people around you, you're in the opposite direction. Right now, you can help people who are in a negative state that want to move over to the other side. That's different, because the willingness to move, you are that gate opener for them,
Right.
and the skills and the tools to help them move over. But the negative people that want to pull you down to make themselves feel better, no, you don't need that in your life. That is
Right.
an issue they got to have to work out on their own.
Right. And I do see that a lot in social media.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, well, for lack of a better word, just jealousy and competition.
Yes. Yes.
And if you pull back at all, those algorithms are going to take a dive.
Hmm.
And I've pulled back from it myself. I'm not. I was, and it was okay for a while. And then I thought, why am I spending three-fourths of my time
Yeah.
doing this?
Hmm.
What importance is that? How am I really serving others when I'm spending three-quarters of my time on social media? But you know,
It's the how you're serving others, because this is one thing people don't realize about social media. It is not there just to like and move on. It is there to be interactive with. Somebody makes a statement, you put out some support, or I always say, they say there's an app for everything. I have a show, right? I've got a show.
mm-hmm,
I did an interview on this, and this may be something that you need to hear. It's being engaged with other people, and especially in this last year where we have ended up being so much more cyber, people are reaching out even more. So reach
yes,
out in kindness, in engagement, in really being interested in someone. It's not about getting out there and moaning and bitching. And, I've put out there, I'm having a hard day, and I can't believe how many people have come back. I talk about my mother who was dying, and she needed to cross over. She was in so much pain. And
mm-hmm,
I put out, a prayer vigil online. I said, my mom needs help in crossing over. She can't see the angels. And 24 hours, not even 24 hours later, apparently it was a dull day and the sunlight came shining through, shone on her. She opened her eyes, opened up her hands, and passed peacefully. I had had over 100 people who didn't
mm-hmm,
just like this, that who sent loving prayers. I really do believe that that energy is what helped her. So let us not undermine the energy of that intent and the energy of that kindness and that gift, because it could be done through social media, but we need to be accountable for what we put out there. right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And accountability is really everything
Yeah.
too. You need to be accountable for who you are. If
Mhm.
you are on social media just to,
Look at me, look at me. How many, like, I get this with people with shows. I mean, you send me some wonderful people, but I get people, how many followers do you have? I don't go on shows anything other than 5,000 a follower. And I say, all those that hear are those that have chosen to listen. And it's
yes,
not for me to say how many. I put it out there. And those that are ready to receive it will receive it. It's not for me to dictate who, when, or how many.
exactly.
And if you're caught
And
up on the numbers, what's that saying about you?
yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
Mm.
Um, and God bless you for what you do, because it's a gift that
It's
you've
a
been
passion.
given.
Yes. Yeah.
It is a passion, but it's a
Yes.
gift that you have
Mm.
to be able to engage in these conversations and bring out of people what the world, the universe needs to hear and know. You bring it out in people. And so I just really want to commend you for that. It's
Thank you.
amazing what you do.
I say I
Welcome.
interview ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And if we understand we're all ordinary, like we're all the same, cut, bleed, do everything else the same, but it's what we do with our life is what makes us, extraordinary or just, beautiful people. And we had that conversation and you said, I'm sending you and you send me every week, beautiful soul to interview. And it's that, for me, it's about the more we share, the stories of courage and strength and abilities and skills and tools, that inspiration begets invitation. It invites someone else to believe, my goodness, if they could do that, surely there's something in me. Maybe I should
Exactly.
apply that skill or that tool, that attitude. Maybe if I just looked at something in a different way. And that's what we do. It's sharing. The best teachers are those that have gone through it. You are an exceptional teacher because of all the struggle you've been through. And there you are, calm, at peace with yourself, with your own spirituality, writing your book. The, um, what was it? Sorry, I'm dyslexic, so I always do it the wrong way round. So, unbreakable power, unshakable power, is putting dyslexia always goes around the wrong way, but it's about you now taking everything that you've learned and giving it back, showing other people, this is where I was, this is what I did, this was my belief. And to other people who are in that struggle, who can't see a way out and go, well, she found a way out. If she found a way out, surely there's a way I can navigate out. Reading her book, listening to her story, is there something in there that becomes that light bulb? Oh, perhaps if I just shifted my focus on this, I would
Right.
find a way out. And sometimes it's as
Exactly.
simple as that, right? But by sharing these stories is a gift to me. Never mind me being a gift, it's a gift to me, what I've learned about myself. And I was giving up on humanity 9 years ago. I just didn't want to be here anymore. As an empath, I just couldn't take the pain anymore. And I was asked to join another network to be a podcaster. And I go, what's that? Didn't even know what they were at the time. And it became my own self discovery of all the
Wow.
wonderful people out there, of how many wonderful stories of how they've inspired me. And I know for a fact of how they've changed other people's lives because people contact me. And it's not me, it's them. All I've done is given them a platform to inspire someone else. So thank you for being that inspiration.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate that. That's very inspiring. Yes, it's hope. It's
Mm,
what it's if that's what we share, is the gift of hope, that yes, you can get through this. Yes, it is difficult. No one's going to tell you that it's going to be that easy,
no.
but you can, and you will,
Mhm. With the spirit, in the
with the
right
spirit
spirit, with the right attitude, with the right
in your
gratitude,
heart.
with the heart ignition. I mean, how many people refuse to open up their hearts because they were hurt? And now all they can feel and all they can see is hurt. The heart has to open up and for you to heal. And I say to people, if you're finding it so difficult to love anything again, look at little puppy dogs and kittens. Look at children who laugh at everything. Look at nature as it comes into bloom. If it doesn't ignite your heart, if it doesn't bring a smile to your face, then I don't know what will. Don't look to the big grandiosa. Look to the beautiful, simple steps you can take. Whether it's a toe in front of a toe or a foot in front of a foot, just move forward.
Exactly. That's what I say is it's a process, as you said, and it is day to day, minute by minute. And there's no escaping that. If you try to leap from here to there, you're not going to get what you really, really
Yeah.
need to get
Yeah.
to get through it and in a healthy way
Mm-hmm.
and stay there and be ready for next. You
Yeah.
know,
That unshakable power, right? You know what I love it is the unshakable power through seasons of the soul. A lot of people will talk about the spirit, will talk about the heart, and they forget about the soul. And the soul is the wisdom. It is the divine source. It is God's source, energy, whatever you want to call it. It comes through the heart in truth. And so for you to actually talk about the seasons of the soul and that ignition of it, this spirituality, scientists have begun to understand because they can measure it. And they realize those
mhm,
that live on a higher level of spirituality and love are resonating at a particular hertz, a particular vibration, where you cannot knowingly do anything harmful to someone else. But the reason we can love so openly and beautiful is because we listen to our soul. We've
that's
connected to our heart and soul.
that's exactly right. But and really, we're born that way.
We are.
We are
We
just like
lose
you're.
the way.
We lose the way. Yes, we do. And somehow then we get led like sheep
Mm,
from the universe, God, spirit, back. Come back over here.
yes.
Come
Yes.
back over here.
Yeah.
Let's do this again.
Yes. A
Let's get
huge
this
border
right.
collie called Spirit,
Or
nipping us in the butt to get back into the right
yes,
alignment.
that was just one season. We're
Yeah.
we're in spring now,
Yes.
and it's a brand new beginning. You've got a brand new baby.
Mm,
We all have a brand new day, a brand new chance, a brand new time to reflect, but not stay
yes.
in what happened in the last season.
Yeah.
You can
That's the
reflect
point.
on it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what did I learn from the last season that I can bring forth and what do I need to leave behind? Every year I have a word that is my word for the year, and this word this year is actionism. There's no more talking about it, no more reflecting on it, but stepping into action. And that actionism is being proactive in your life. You don't like what's going on, you're the one that has to change it.
That's right. Yes, that's what I call stepping up and
Mhm.
into your inner power.
Which we all have.
That's that's the action. That's right. We do have it, and we learn more and more about it, and that we can call on it, and it's there,
Yes.
and it yes, yes,
I mean, you know, as a lawyer, you're meant to have an analytical mind. Well, I look at it this side, but what does it mean this side? And how can I manipulate it this side? And, the mind is constantly turning things left, right, and center to try and find, a thread that you can bring out with you in your case. It's hard. I've had other people who have been solicitors that, my analytical mind to go to the spiritual being, which is trust and knowingness, and where you don't look at it as an equation or this and that, to step out of that mindset. But then, as you said, you stepped into that mindset out of expectation. It never belonged to you in the first place.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I'm left-handed, by the way, so all that all that analytical thinking is it's sometimes very it's very hard for me to get through because I do analyze,
Mm.
overanalyze
Yes. Yeah.
more so in the past than now, really. I don't stay there
Mm,
because that's part of being in control of your own
mm.
thinking.
Instead of analyzing, it's more inquiring.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
You look at a situation, try and understand it, but don't get caught into it because all of a sudden you're sucked into this Rubik's Cube that you can't get straight.
That is the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. Very
and
well said.
and that allowing, right? It's a trust. It's a trust in the universe, trust in the spirit, trust in the heart. Just allow. Now, we don't say allow without structure because if you are grounded, if you are rooted, your tree is firmly rooted, your tree trunk is nice and solid, you can branch out as many branches as you want because you are sturdy. And the wind can blow you this way and that, and you can take it because you're rooted, you're grounded. And a lot of people, I think, make the mistake of kind of going from, A jumping to Z straight into the spirituality, and they've not done the process or the work. It's more of an escapism than it is a process of actualism.
I agree. And it is it's a little frustrating, to try to help those that are do that for a
Mhm.
better. I don't know. It is frustrating, but it is a calling.
Yeah,
It is a calling, and we're here to help everyone.
yeah.
And
If they wish to be
even
helped, the free will is that you can't help them until they ask for the help.
that's exactly right.
And that's the
That's
frustration, right? You want to help somebody and you know you can, but until they give you permission. I mean, you can give them love, you can give them light, you can give them all that, but you can't give them the practicalities or the application until they are a free will. Help me.
that's right. And willing to listen and
Yes.
grow and
Put
do
the
the
work
work
in. Mhm.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yes. Take those action steps and make and go through the things they have to go through to get to that place of on the other side of that. And it's really it's beautiful to see people do that. And it's a challenge, and I'm not up for all those challenges that much anymore. The
Right.
challenge
Yes.
challenging. I've had enough of the, especially as an attorney. The okay, it's my way or the highway type.
Mm, hmm.
And being right, or those things are not important to me anymore, or winning at all costs, or any of that. It's not about that. It's just not about that anymore. um, mhm.
Life is about enrichment and abundance. And that doesn't mean riches or abundance in the bank account or the house or this, that. Numerous people I've interviewed who walked away from the big house of six figures, the this and that, and realized they were slaves to it. They never had time to enjoy it. The greatest gift we're given is time, but how we use that time, is where we need the time to breathe, the time to absorb, the time to have joy, the time to play. And when you do slow down and you do step into this realm, you really do prioritize, don't you? And I'm so much more enriched and abundant. My bank account doesn't agree, but I am. I'm the richest I've ever been in my heart and soul and spirit. And so I live very modestly. It's okay. It's okay because it doesn't matter where you live. It's who you're living with, yourself, right?
That's
That's
exactly right. That's exactly right. If my camera's shaking, it's because my little kitten just jumped up here, and she wants to play with the light ring. Hi, Cassie.
wants
You
to be
want
in on it. I can see the ears. Oh,
to?
no.
Yeah, she's checking in, but she's attracted to your voice, I think.
Well, yes, I have a kitten here too, and I have the door closed. And the other day, she just sat there meowing until I let her in. She had to be a part of it. So, and
Oh,
sometimes they,
yeah.
I used to have dogs, and there she is. Hello. Walking all across now, letting her
Oh,
presence be
I just
known.
wanted to say hello. Hi, Nancy. Thank you.
No, I used to have, oh, I used to have dogs that loved sitting at my feet when I did an interview, and they just loved it for the energy. You know, they just loved the energy that they got from it. And you know, it's look to our animal kingdom. Look to our children, our indigo children. They are incredible teachers. They have
Yes.
such intuitive empathy and understanding and clarity and just the ability to do and say the right thing at the right moment. So don't dismiss them because they're young. What do you know? They know so much. Pay
Oh,
attention.
well, that's so funny that you say that because they really do know. Excuse me, let me straighten this back out a little bit. Um, this is a funny story too. My I have two grandsons, one 7, one 5. Last year, before COVID, um, I was visiting them, and the oldest one is particularly um, just all about his Shasha. That's what they call me, Shasha. And I love that name. But
Mm.
so Sam and I were sitting on the couch, and he was just, and we're just hugging on each other and loving on each other and laughing and playing. And he looked up at me and he said, Shasha, you, you have old neck.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Right. And I had never heard that term before, but it just was so funny. And I mean, I wasn't upset, but that was funny. He said, I don't want you to be old. I don't ever want you to get old.
Mm.
So I had to reassure him that I would be a young grandmother. And that is, that is one of the things I strive to be.
And
Is
again, that comes down to it. I mean, you know, I'm naturally silvery gray nowadays, and you know, I'm 66 and just become a grandmother, and it's you know,
hey,
it is that's the number of the years I've been here. Got a far older soul. It goes back a very long time, but it's a question of where's my spirit, and when your spirit's in your heart and your heart is enthusiastic and it can see the simple joys in life, it is
yes,
ageless, isn't it?
forever young,
Yes, yes, yeah. Who sang
forever
that?
young,
Who sang that? Forever young.
forever
Yeah,
young. I can hear the song, but
yeah.
I cannot tell you who it was.
Whoever's listening to the show, please in the comments tell us who sang that song.
Yes, please.
It's there, kind of there, but I just can't quite connect to it. But I mean,
No,
that's the thing. There's always a song for something. You know,
right.
there's a story, a song, a book, a rhyme. You know, there's always something that reflects life. And, you know, when you're willing to kind of embrace that reflection, um, we're not going through, I know one of the hardest things, and this is why suicide does happen, because people think they're alone. No one cares, um, that they can't cope with going through this. But when they do hear other people have gone through it, and this is how they've gone through it, and how other people have reached out to them, there is, as you said, that hope. It's the spirit opening up. It's opening up to say you're not alone. I love my alone time. I used to be lonely with people in my life because
Hmm.
I was not seen or heard for who I was. It was what I was to them,
Oh,
not
yes.
what who I am, but what I was to them. And that is very, very lonely. But when you step into yourself, your own beingness, you are never alone. And you
Yes,
enjoy that alone time so much, don't you?
exactly. And you say that after having been through COVID completely alone
Hmm.
for about a year. And I would never have dreamed because I'm a pretty social being, I
Yeah.
would say. I do like my alone time as well, but I never dreamed that I would be completely and totally alone, locked away
Hmm.
from any human interaction for almost a year.
Yeah.
It was a long time before I would ever even step out. And that really was another growth experience for me, is to know that I could be totally alone and learn from that
Mm.
aloneness, even though I was not. I think there was a period of grief and loneliness. And then once I was saying, okay, this is the way it is. You
Yeah.
can't change this.
Yeah.
This is the way it is. So what are you going to do
Yeah.
about it? I
Yeah.
mean, you're going to, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, you can cry about it, or you can look for the benefits. I mean, how many people say, "Oh, I just wish I had time for myself." You've just given time to for yourself. What did you do with it?
right, exactly. What did you choose to do with it? Because everything is a choice.
Yes.
Everything is a choice. It boils down to what we choose to do with what we've been given, with circumstances, whether they be an illness or the loss of a loved one or whatever. It is how we choose to deal with it within ourselves, and how we choose to take that experience, as you and I have agreed today,
Mm.
that to take that experience and what you learn from it and use it to help other people. That is such a blessing. And
Yes.
one of my favorite sayings that I say all the time is that I've been blessed in order to be able to bless others.
Hmm. That's it.
I have to look at my life as a blessing.
Yes.
Everything, every bit of it,
Hmm.
every bit of it.
Yeah. You get to a stage where you can talk about the painful things without feeling the pain and just know it was experience. It was life lessons, right? You know,
Right.
let go of the trauma of it. The post-traumatic stress. Yes, you're going to get triggers now and again, but when you do, it doesn't mean you're going back down the rabbit hole. It just means, oh, okay, all right, what do I need to nurture myself at this moment so that I
Mhm.
don't go down the rabbit hole? Because something has triggered me. Where am I in my life right now? That can't hurt me anymore.
Right. Right. Yes, that rabbit hole it can be very deep if
Mm,
we choose to go down there.
hmm. Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to go back there ever again.
Me neither.
Tell us about the other books. I know that you're a contributor in a book, the Biz Catalyst 360. Tell us about that and anything else that you've written.
Actually, my other two books are Power Up Superwomen, and it's a compilation of stories of women surviving or thriving through you know life altering situations, circumstances, illness, whatever. And then we each wrote a chapter in the book. That
Lovely.
was my first book that I contributed to. And then there was another one from a group in UK, and they invited me to be a part of that. And it was also a book about superpowers and superwomen, and just that that part of it. And then the Biz Catalyst 360 is actually it's a group of writers that write articles
Mhm.
for BizCat 360, and it's on social media. It's on Facebook. It's a group, and they do a lot. They were very. It's a very humanitarian group. They reach out. They do a lot in the community, and they have a lot of community groups and interactions where people. I mean, we help other people through our work and our writings. And so I write articles for them. It's one of the things I do. So I have Unshakable Power, which is my book, and then the other two that I co-wrote. And then BizCat is just I just write articles for them, feature articles for them. And I write for different magazines, and I've written for Breast Wellness magazine, and I write for um, different magazines, different causes, different like a breast cancer organization that I just wrote one for, and so yes, I love being a contributor to the causes that will that are close to me, close to my heart, that I can help other people through my writing.
Right. And of course, you're a supporter. As I said, you've sent me some wonderful people, and we every Tuesday there will be a new show from someone that has been sent by you, and some wonderful people, really incredible people that are doing some wonderful things, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you. It's always nice, I get obviously sent a lot, but it's nice when I know who's sending them. You know who I am, you know what kind of shows I do, and you're sending people that I can truly honor because there is that connection. So it's wonderful. I invite people to go, keep looking because it's always something wonderful coming out every Tuesday. Um, when we step in to our meaningful purpose with our heart, our soul, and our spirit, that knowingness and that beautiful feeling of belonging to something bigger. It really is so calming and peaceful. Everybody's out there chasing peace, fighting for peace. And it's not something you fight for. You can fight for equality that can bring about peace, but the peace is an inside job. And you
Mhm.
want peace, be the peace that you want, because your peacefulness will contribute to the peaceful
Right.
atmosphere around you.
Yes. And the same with love,
Yes.
the same thing. So you and I, here we are with our hearts open, opening up to all of your beautiful audience that will watch. And as they see us opening up our hearts to each other and sharing,
Hmm.
then they open their hearts. That's when
Yes.
they're receptive to
Hmm.
our messages
Yes.
of hope and love and inspiration, and knowing that you are strong enough, you are good enough, you are everything you need, you already have it within
Yeah.
you.
In your flawsomeness, in your beautiful imperfection, in your uniqueness, do not try and compare yourself or be like someone else. You are enough. It is you that we need in the world because it's your gift that is a part of this beautiful orchestra. So don't try and do it like someone, people, oh, you interview like Oprah. I said, no, Oprah interviews like Oprah. I interview like Sarah, right? And
I
and this is what you're
love
going to
that.
get, the authenticity of Sarah. Like it or not, I'm not going to be offended if I'm not your cup of tea. But be yourself. Do not try and fit into everybody's category. Just be your own beautiful light, and that light will shed on the people who are willing to see, hear, and feel you.
That's exactly right. And you don't have to force that.
No, no,
That is not a forced thing.
no.
That is not a forced thing. So that's a good, very good point. It's the people that are open and willing to learn and listen are going to be sent here, and they're going to get the right messages that they need for themselves, and hopefully grow through whatever they're going through and be able to step up and into their power a
Yeah.
little easier next time, and a little easier the time after that. And then learn to not only step into that action place, but to use that to touch other people with what you learned.
Mhm. We pass it
Not
on. We pass it on. We
That's what
resonate
we
it
do.
out. It becomes part of our entire presence. Your site is believeinspire.us. Um, and it is that belief of what you believe in that inspires others. But you also have some programs where you help other people. Will you tell us about that?
I do. I actually have the uh, I have some workshops that I do every 6 months or so, and they're actually around my book and lessons that you can take with you from the book. And one of the things that I'm doing now is taking people from my website that visit my website, and offering them, a consultation,
Mhm.
and for nothing,
Mhm.
just see if what I can do to help them. So I most of my work is one on one,
Yeah.
but I yes. So and through my writing
Hmm.
um, and speaking, but I um, that's pretty much what I do.
A supporter. You're
Just
definitely a
be.
supporter. We are not alone. But on our journey, we need people that sometimes they're just a cheerleader, sometimes they're a supporter, sometimes they've got a skill or a tool for you. Some people, it's just that right phrase or that right piece of wisdom at that right moment. And you're going to meet many teachers along the way. And you never know how your teachings is going to, where it's going to fit you. You share it, and that person may put it in the backpack and bring it out later in life, or it just sits in the back of their mind, or they apply it straight away. Again, that's not for us to decide. It is purely for us to share that knowledge, and what people do with it
Yes,
is their responsibility, right?
just to make it available,
Yes.
like you say,
Yes.
make
Yeah.
it available.
Yeah, yeah, there is no, you got to do this and you should do that and do that. No, if you've got that type of thing, it's the wrong energy. It
That's
is,
right.
here is the love, here is the knowledge, here is the
That's
wisdom,
right.
here are the tools that I used.
That's
And
right.
I am your support for anything you want to apply along the way. And to realize that our choices in life, our journey in life is ours. And it is ours to walk alone, but at the same time to realize we've always got people around us there to help us.
That's exactly right. That's important for, I think, especially younger people that, or maybe even, elderly,
Mm.
but because our elderly really are sort of forgotten.
Yes.
We put them away into a home somewhere, and then you just sort of leave them there, and then they're gone. And that's one of the things that's becoming one of my passions at this point, is the really helping, reaching out to the elderly and the young, like the millennials, or
Mhm.
that they're really having a hard time right now. And so there's a lot of people that need help, um, and so I'm here, and you're here, and
Mhm.
so we welcome them with open heart, open
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah. Okay, so tell everybody your social medias, your site again, everything, how they can get a hold of you, how they can buy the book, where they can buy the book.
Oh goodness. Okay, I don't even have a book right here to show you.
I
But
will
the
be putting it up at the beginning of the show here on YouTube, and of
oh,
course, it's on your show posting as well.
thank you very much. It's Unshakable Power: 3 Seasons of the Soul. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And my social media is Believe Inspire on Instagram, and I'm Shar Murphy on Facebook, and I am on LinkedIn as Shar Murphy author. So
Right. And you also have a Facebook called Hope Inspires,
uh,
and one that Live for Service.
Believe, Inspire, and yes, and live for service.
Right.
Yes,
And the site is believeinspire.us. Us.
that's correct.
Excellent.
That's correct.
We have an unshakable power in us, every single one of us. It's just that discovery of it. This net was called self-discovery because it is about you discovering who you are. What is your gift? What's your contribution? We are all here to contribute to the village is only as strong as everybody's participation. And each
That's
and
right.
every one of us has a reason for being here and a way
Yes,
to contribute. And all again, your flawsomeness. We're not looking for people to be perfect because that
that's right.
trying to hold up that perfection is painful. It is, you're quirky, you're different, you can do this, but you can't do that. It doesn't matter. It's about being you and bringing
That's
yourself to
right.
the table, the feast,
That's
right?
it.
So,
That's right.
and you're enough. You're enough. Step into your heart, let your heart open up, let it glow, let it absorb, let it share. Because really, it's
Absolutely.
very simple, isn't it? It's very, very
Yes.
simple.
Yes. And as part of the collective,
Hmm.
the more that we can help other people do that, the stronger we will all be together.
Yes.
And that's what we need to understand. It's not about separate and divide. It
No.
is about, unite, come together, believe in yourself
Yes.
enough to know that you can do anything that you want to do and be who
Yeah.
you are and be comfortable with that and inspire and give hope to others. That is what life is all about.
It is. It's very, very simple, folks. Take away the highfalutedness of it, the heavy intellectualism of it, and understand the intuitiveness of it, and you'll realize that it's much easier to live that way.
That's right. And be grateful for
Yeah,
every day and
every
every
day.
minute that you're given.
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
I'm very grateful for you. Thank
And
you.
I am very grateful for you, Sarah.
And
Thank
all
you
the
so
wonderful
much.
people that you're sending me, each one of them a beautiful glow. They're
I'm
another
so
lovely
happy.
light bulb in our
I'm so
disco here.
happy.
So thanks so much for sharing with us here today. It's been
You're
wonderful.
so
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you.
And remember, folks, there's always somebody out there that's there willing to help you, to guide you, to inspire you, to share love with you, to show you the way forward, because that's what we're here to do. So reach out to Charlotte and just start a conversation, see where it goes. If there's a beautiful synergy, you never know what doors she's going to open up to you. The doors in your mind, the doors in your heart, the doors in your spirit are ready for you to give you wings and to fly. So until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. You will hear many, many shows here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. We have new shows for you out every week. Just find them on our podcast or What's New. If you feel that you have something to share that makes a difference in the lives of others, or you too feel that you could be a host, please contact me at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com and we will be glad to speak with you. Have a wonderful day.